And thank you to all of our witnesses for lending your expertise to this discussion today. You know, climate change really means devastating wildfires are quickly becoming the new normal. We have seen that in my home state of Washington, and we know that that comes at a real cost. More wildfires mean more adverse effects for people's health. We have seen smoke non-ending in the fall in our state that is affecting people's health. We see obviously more loss of property and more rehabilitation costs for our communities. And as these catastrophic fires grow in size and frequency, our wildfire suppression funding has to keep pace, and this can't be at the expense of mitigation and prevention efforts. We are already seeing the costs of wildfire suppression well outpace where we thought we would be in 2018 when we secured a bipartisan wildfire funding fix as part of our spending bill. And that fire fix was a bipartisan solution to end the untenable fire borrowing cycle that took away money from forest management activities to fight wildfires. Now here we are just a handful of years later, and it's really clear that the authorized funding levels in our Wildfire Reserve Fund do not meet our current suppression needs or properly address the new reality of our fire seasons that are dominated by very large and very destructive fires. We can and we have to update the cap adjustment for fire well ahead of the expiration date. That's an important step to account for the severity of fire seasons we now face. And I want you to know I'm very focused on getting that done swiftly as chair of the Appropriations Committee. And I look forward to working with our Republican colleagues to do just that. Now, in my home state of Washington, we are familiar with the destructive capacity of wildfires. In 2020, the towns of Malden and Pine City were nearly wiped off the map. And those communities are still working to rebuild and find ways to mitigate their fire risk. So my question is for Commissioner Cerna. Can you speak to the impact on your municipal budget as you work to rebuild and to the unique challenges posed for rural communities that are responding to and preventing future fires?
Thank you. First of all, Moore County is not incorporated. We still operate on a county budget. And how we're going to deal with this, I don't know. We do have a lot of volunteer firefighters that stepped up to the plate in this fire and saved our local communities. I just don't know. We've got plans to start applying for grants for a wildfire coordinator and a full-time emergency manager. And we are going to make our fire coordinator a full-time position as well. With that, I don't know how much we can deal with mitigation and dealing with the forest. I think we're going to start creating partnerships, stronger partnerships with the Forest Service to work together to deal with private properties and of course, the federal lands to hopefully mitigate future damage.
Well, thank you for that. And certainly, Mr. Chairman, as you are showing with this budget hearing, there is a real cost. And the federal government has to step up to support these communities to help mitigate the risks and help rebuild in the years following these fires. So let me just close by saying that I'm very proud of the climate action and wildfire-related investments that we were able to secure in the Inflation Reduction Act that will help support some healthy fire-resistant forests and put us on a path to cut emissions by nearly 40% by 2030, and also in the bipartisan infrastructure law, which provided salary increases for our federal wildland firefighters and additional community forest management resources and coordination. But tackling this head-on is really going to take an integrated whole-of-government approach, and we have to continue to meet this moment and account for the severity of fire seasons that we're facing. And that's going to mean taking a hard look at how we can save ourselves a lot of heartache and money in the long run by making smart investments in cutting emissions in federal wildfire prevention and response efforts now. So I hope that that can be a bipartisan undertaking as we move forward. But, Mr. Chairman, I think this hearing is very critical in everyone's understanding of the severity of these wildfires, the cost to local communities, to the federal budget, and why we need to continue to focus on taking action. So thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Murray.